I thought about what it would take to make a biblically accurate angel. The answer is far too much. So in lieu of that, here is Marvel Legends Angel, Warren Worthington III. Let's get this out of the package and take a look. This figure dropped earlier this year during a Hasbro Pulse event. When I saw them put it on the table, I knew I needed it, and as soon as that pre-order dropped, I jumped on it. I have always loved this character. Who doesn't want to have the ability to fly? My first real memory of him was a 3-issue run of X-Force where he and the rest of the members were captured by Apocalypse and he was turned into Archangel. I got those issues as payment for helping a kid in the neighborhood with his paper route. Simpler times. I still have them today, safely bagged and boarded, and are 3 of my most treasured. The box art for this figure is excellent. The problem is the box itself. Since they added angles to it, they made it more challenging than it needed to be to open it. If I was a child, I would have just ripped right through it. But as a collector, I would like to save the packaging. To effectively get this out, you need to cut all the taped parts and open the whole back flap. This is the first figure I've had to do that with. I don't tend to buy a lot of Marvel Legends figures, so I haven't had to contend with this, where others may have. Anyways, let's get into this now that it's open. The Marvel comic backing card is really well done, just subtle enough to make the figure stand out against it. As with a lot of these Marvel Legends figures, they don't come with a lot of accessories, but we'll get into that in a minute. This figure feels solid, and the paint job looks so good. That red with that white, as well as the accent of the yellow halo on his chest. I noticed right off the bat, they gave him some very light freckles. It's a nice way to give his face a little more character and depth. I don't believe the character had freckles, but I could be wrong. He comes with the Hasbro double-hinged elbow joints, and his arms are really well sculpted. He also has that upper arm swivel that's so important. Just pulling his fist all the way up to his bicep like this is what I'm looking for posing. I did find an imperfection on both arms in the same place on both sides. It's in the sculpted muscle area of the forearm where it's painted white. The paint just didn't get all the way down in the crease. I did hear another reviewer say that his was the same way, so this seems to be a QC issue. Obviously, that's annoying and we don't want this as collectors, but I can look past it. He also has the great double-hinged knee joints as well, which are really stiff, so just be careful if you get one. You can also swivel the upper thigh as well as his calf, as well as being able to put his feet in the most unnatural positions. And then my favorite part, the ab crunch. It is so necessary for this figure, especially if you're going to go for flying poses. This pose doesn't work for most, but for this figure, so good. You'll see some more of this in the turnarounds. As for accessories, he comes with a second head. They are both very well sculpted. However, I don't really care for the second head. The headpiece line down the bridge of his nose is slightly off, and that smile and dead-eyed stare is kind of creepy. It feels like he's looking through me, and he may do something about it. I personally much prefer the stoic, expressionless face. The neck tilt and swivel is on point. Again, if he's going to be in flying positions, you need to be able to tilt his head to look in the direction he's going. As for the other accessories, he comes with a second set of hands. He comes with the closed fist hands out of the box, and the second set of hands are in a more action pose. Nothing crazy. And last but not least, he does have 2 sockets on his back, which are for the most important part, the wings. These wings are beautiful. They are so well sculpted and dry brushed, so you can see all the definition of the feathers. They didn't just give you some white plastic wings with no paint job. They snap into the holes on his back, and I found out they don't come out. or they don't come out easily. I tried to remove them and I couldn't. Okay, these don't come out. The hinge point is a ball joint that has the ability to fold the wings back as well as rotate them up and down. The designers of these really put in some time to make these awesome. Each wing is segmented into 3 parts, which allows you to be able to unfurl or collapse the wings as you see fit, giving you a lot of versatility. Wow, look at the span on that. The full wingspan of this figure is about 16 inches. One thing I found that you need to be careful of, since the white on his shoulders is painted on and not colored plastic, if the shoulder is rotated and rubs against his body, it can scrape and rub off some of the paint pretty easily. Not something I can't fix, just something to be aware of. Let's get him up on the turntable and take a look. I know you're probably sick of hearing me gush over this figure, but I absolutely love it. I am so glad I bought this. The minor drawbacks with the paint job can be fixed or just overlooked, but this piece has such shelf presence. As I'm writing this, I'm actively thinking about what I can take down so he can go up in its place. If you're planning on getting this and planning to have him in flying poses, make sure you get a sturdy action base. This one that I used here is not that. It's cheap. I had to really work hard to get this pose, so invest in a good action base. With all that being said, I think it's time to go read some X-Force comics and put him up on the shelf. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and check out some of my other action figure unboxings. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.